How long until my command center is operational again? Okay, fine. I meant how long until BZ is operational again? Well, make it fast. We must get this encryption module back to the Republic as soon as possible.
Hi, I'm Brent Friedman. I am a writer on Clone Wars. I've been a writer for several seasons now. When we laid out the stories, and George said, I want to do something different with the second episode. And everyone went, oh no. What does that mean? And he said, I want it to be an episode about nothing. I want it to be droids kind of lost in this nothingness. And I want to have the whole thing be an existential crisis. And I want to do it like Mobius used to do, this old cartoonist, like completely minimalist. And I want it to be completely different than anything we've ever done. So on one hand, everyone was excited. That's different, that's always great. On the other hand, everyone said, well, how do you write 22 minutes about nothing with droids, most of whom can't speak? Something hooked in me that I just thought this would be an enormous challenge. It would be a lot of fun. And everyone else by the end of the conference had completely backed away from the arc, and I said, I'll take it. One of the things that happens in a Star Wars story, or in particular a Clone Wars story, is you have these big iconic characters, Anakin, Obi-Wan, Yoda, Mace, even Dooku and Palpatine, and now Darth Maul. You have all these characters that people love to see in big, exciting situations. And the droid arc was the counterpunch to all of that. How do we have an arc that feels like it's part of this season and not completely out of place? And I think the way we approached that was, well, let's have it be fun, let's have it be droids, but let's have it be something where there are real stakes. And that the droids are the best hope the Republic has to stop this from happening. So this arc, even though on the surface it's fun and droids and there's some kind of comedic dialogue throughout it, it's meaningful. It's part of the war effort. And so that's how it ended up becoming part of season 5 and taking its kind of rightful place amongst these much bigger, more mature and darker arcs. The dramatic spectrum of possibilities as a writer is so great in the Star Wars universe, where you can have the beginning of New Hope, where it's kind of the dramatic comedy of two droids, bickering out in the middle of a desert, all the way to these really dramatic scenes where, Obi-Wan Kenobi is killed by Darth Vader. No! To these incredibly triumphant moments where Luke trusts the Force and destroys the Death Star. All of that works within the spectrum of the Star Wars universe. So when you go in and you say, I'm just going to focus on something that's comedic, well, the comedy really is not jokes. It's coming from the characters. It's coming from the fact that the Colonel is very flawed, right? He's got a Napoleon complex. He's a little tiny alien who has these big plans. The only reason that he seems to want to do the mission in the first place is because he wants a promotion, right? And his foil in all of this is Whack.
You are just a pilot.
Oh.
And he spends the rest of the arc trying to prove he's more than just a pilot.
I want us ready to roll. Pronto, pronto.
So you have these two egos that are clashing the whole time. Meanwhile, the real hero is R2. R2 doesn't care about any of that. He just wants to get the job done. That's his mission. That's why we love him.
Where are you going, soldier?
He says we have to finish our mission.
And so that's kind of that little triangle where you have these two clashing egos going back and forth, and then you have R2 leading everyone else actually to complete the mission. So yeah, one of the challenges with writing droids into the Star Wars universe is you don't have any dialogue. And in the case of R2, you're pretty clear on what his point of view is and how he communicates, but all of the new droids that were introduced, BZ, C4, and KT, all had to essentially act like R2, but with their own distinct personality. So each of them had kind of a character type, and then it was just about trying to figure out little moments within each episode and throughout the whole arc where their character type got to advance the story. They got to have one piece of action that moved things forward, and they got to be heroic in their own way. Or they got to make a mistake in their own way. And the trick is, in each of those instances, you can only communicate that they're going to have little actions. You know, they roll this way, or they trip, or they do this, or they pop their top, and they have a small sound that's attached to that action, and then you just write in an emotion that comes alongside of it. And the great thing is the production team can just look at that and they can make it all come to life. You're really, in a way, writing shorthand for the production team. Make him spin in confusion, right? Whatever that means, they're going to make it look good. And so I always feel like as a writer, we have a great safety net with a team that brings everything to life much better than I ever could have imagined it. I'm internally grateful to the production team for taking my words and making them magic.
I agree. We cannot trust his training anymore. But I cannot trust your programming either. Especially if you will not vote for me to be the new leader. Where are you going now?